So what the heck does this war in Iran have to do with real estate? At first glance, you may be thinking, not much, but unfortunately, that is not the case. And I want to briefly go over why that is with you guys in this short video.
If you wanna sell, call Terrell. Just call Terrell, yeah. If you wanna buy, he's still the guy. Yeah, he's still that guy. So if you wanna buy or sell, just call Terrell.
So like most of our conflicts, right, in this country, it all boils down to blah, 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 blah. You guessed it, oil, right? Now, most of us are already aware that a huge portion of the world's oil, roughly 20% of global supply, moves through this narrow waterway called the Strait of Hormuz. Now, this military operation with Iran has severely disrupted shipping there, and things are going to be further compounded by the local refinery shutdown. So oil prices are already going through the roof, and I honestly don't see how this can get any better before it gets worse. I just read an article. It stated that the price was under $3 a week ago, and it's already above $90 a barrel. Again, this is only a week into the conflict. So let's just ask ourselves a logical question. If Iran is significantly larger than Afghanistan and Iraq combined, and the Afghanistan conflict lasted nearly 20 years, how could this possibly be something that lasts 4 to 5 weeks? I highly doubt this war will be over in 4 to 5 months, let alone 4 to 5 weeks. So we really need to start buckling up and looking at the long-term effects this conflict is going to cause. Because again, we're only a week in and we're already feeling it at the pump. There are reports that are saying California was hit the hardest by the recent price surge, as some locations are already approaching $6 a gallon. Mortgage rates dropped briefly below 6%, but have already jumped right back up again above that 6% mark. And again, the first strike was only like a week ago, guys. So we all need to understand that when oil prices spike, it does not just affect gasoline. It affects shipping. It affects construction materials, food transportation, airline travel, manufacturing. Essentially, rising energy costs are going to ripple throughout the entire economy. Now, these energy shocks are very dangerous for the economy, especially because there are so many industries hit simultaneously, both directly, like what we're seeing at the gas pump, and indirectly, which is what we're going to see in housing. When energy costs rise, inflation usually follows, and historically mortgage rates follow behind inflation. And that's why this matters for real estate and why I'm giving you guys this video. When inflation rises and mortgage rates follow, that means buyers will have higher monthly payments, there will be fewer qualified buyers in the market, and the economic uncertainty will dissuade a portion of qualified buyers from becoming homeowners. This means that overall there will be slower home sales, less volume. So although in my last market update that I literally just posted, where I said, hey, affordability is returning, things are looking up, it's looking like a very promising year for both buyers and sellers, unfortunately, our country's, in my opinion, incompetent or paid off, you decide, leadership has almost certainly ensured that mortgage rates will continue to rise as this conflict continues on, which means sales volume is almost certain to decline. So if you want to buy a home, I'd suggest on moving quickly, because these are probably going to be the best interest rates available to you for a while. And sellers, if you 100% cannot afford to ride out a potential housing crisis, I'd also suggest trying to sell sooner rather than later, because this war with Iran, as it rages on, our economy is going to continue to experience, negative growth, in my opinion. There's going to be less and less buyers that are even able or willing to buy a home. Now, I want to be clear to you guys, a recession does not mean a housing crisis. Only 2 of the last 6 recessions resulted in home prices dropping. However, we are literally witnessing textbook definition of stagflation right now. All the writing is on the wall, and basically the writing is telling me that this is not gonna, work out well for us everyday working Americans. We are dealing with high inflation, which has only been exacerbated by this needless war and will continue to because there's no end in sight. We also are dealing with negative economic growth and high unemployment. The US labor market just announced 92,000 jobs were lost in February, which, by the way, they projected marginal gains. Continuing unemployment claims continue to rise. I've beat AI to death, right? We continue to see that that's going to only get better. So what is that going to do with unemployment as the months and years come? So I'm not trying to scare anyone, but in my opinion, the negative effects of this war with Iran is going to ripple throughout our economy, and housing is no exception to that. So remember when I said earlier, energy inflation, as that cost rises, inflation will follow, and historically, mortgage rates are going to follow behind that rising inflation. So yes, a week ago, I was telling everybody affordability was returning to the market, but we have to acknowledge that things are now trending back in the opposite direction. Now, this does not mean that there are no deals out there, because some of the best deals can be found at times of economic uncertainty. So, and if you guys need any guidance on that, I'm always just a DM, a text, or a call away. So that's my time today, y'all. Make sure you follow me to stay on top of what's going on in the housing market, not only nationally, but locally here in the greater Los Angeles area. And I will keep you guys updated on this. But again, just primary theme is expect interest rates and mortgage rates to rise. Sales volume is likely going to slow. We're not seeing a ton of economic growth. So, we really got to hunker down. And if you are buying, make sure you are buying the right property, and know what buying the right property is and what I mean by saying that. If you don't know that, again, I'm a text, I'm a phone call, a DM away, right? So you guys know the motto. If you want to sell, call Terrell, and if you want to buy, I'm still the guy. I'll catch you guys soon.
If you wanna